of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irreversible fact. Nashta prayeshvuat abdhashreu nityam bhagatam sevaya bhagati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naimshtaki. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, text number 12. It is a very complicated text.
One more time, what text?
12.
12.
So canto 5, chapter 7, text 12. Tayatam avirata purusha paricharaya bhagavati pravadharmana nugara bharadruta hridaya shaitilaya parahasha vegenatmani udpidyamana roma polaka kolaka auta kantya pravrita pranaya Bashpa nirudhavanaloka nayana evam nitya ramananona karana ravindhanudhayana parichyata bhakti yogena paripluta paramadladha gambira hridaya vagada tishanas tammapi kriyamanam Bhagavat Saparyam Na Samsara. Word by word translation. Taya, by that. Itam, in this manner. Avirata, constant. That is interesting because virage, that means in French curves. So, not so constant. And avirata means constant, straight. Purusha of the Supreme Lord. Paricharyaya, by the service. Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pravardhamana, constantly increasing. Anuraga, of attachment. Bara, by the load. Druta, melted. Hridaya, heart. Shaitilaha, laxity. Prahasa vegana, by the force of transcendental ecstasy. Atmani, in his body. Utphidyamana Roma polaka kulaka, standing of the hair on end. On end. Autantya. Outkantya. Because of intense longing. Longing. Pravrita. Produced. Prana baspa nirutha avaloka nayanaha. A waking of tears of love in the eyes, obstructing the vision. Okay, evam, thus, nijaramana aruna karanana aravida. On the Lord's reddish lotus feet. Lotus. Anudhyana, by meditating. Parichita, increased. Bhakti Yogena,
Bhakti Yogina,
by dint of devotional service.
Adins of devotional service.
Paripluta,
Paripluta,
spreading everywhere.
spreading everywhere.
Parama,
Rama,
highest.
Aris,
Alada,
Ahlada,
of spiritual bliss.
of spiritual bliss.
Kambhira,
Gambhira,
very deep.
very
Deep.
deep.
Hridaya Radha,
Hridaya, Radha,
in the heart which is compared to a lake.
in the heart which is complete in the lake.
Avagadha,
Avagadha,
immersed.
immersed.
Tishanaha,
Hishanaha,
whose intelligence.
whose intelligent.
Tam,
Tam,
tat,
tat,
that.
tat.
Api,
Api,
although.
Allah,
Kriyamanam,
Yamanam,
executing.
executing.
It's like Kriya Yoga, Kriyamanam. Bhagavat,
Bhagavat,
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
of the Supreme Personality of God.
Saparyam,
Paryam,
the worship.
worship.
Na,
Na,
not.
not
Sasmara,
Sasmara,
remembered.
remember.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swaripada Ki.
Jaya,
Prabhupada Ki.
Jaya.
That most exalted devotee, Maharaja Bharata, in this way engaged constantly in the devotional service of the Lord. Naturally, his love for Vasudeva, Krishna, increased more and melted his heart. Consequently, he gradually lost all attachment for regulative duties. The hairs of his body stood on end, and all the ecstatic bodily symptoms were manifest. Tears flowed from his eyes, so much that he could not see anything. Thus, he constantly meditated on the reddish lotus feet of the Lord. At that time, his heart, which was like a lake, was filled with the water of ecstatic love. When his mind was immersed in that lake, he even forgot the regulative service of the Lord. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki.
Jaya.
When one is actually advanced in ecstatic love of Krishna, 8 transcendental blissful symptoms are manifest in the body. Those are the symptoms of perfection arising from loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Maharaj Bharata was constantly engaged in devotional service, all the symptoms of ecstatic love were manifest in his body. Repeat after me. Translation. That most exalted devotee,
Most exalted devotee,
Maharaja Bharata,
Maharaj Bharata,
in this way engaged constantly in the devotional service of the Lord. In this way engaged constantly in the devotional service of the Lord. Naturally, his love for Vasudeva,
naturally love for Vasudeva,
Krishna,
Krishna,
increased more and melted his heart.
increased more and more, and
Melted his heart.
melted his heart.
Consequently, he gradually lost all attachment for regulative duties. Consequently, he gradually lost all attachment for regulative duties. The hairs of his body stood on end, and all the ecstatic bodily symptoms were manifest. Tears flowed from his eyes, so much that he could not see anything. Thus he constantly meditated on the reddish lotus feet of the Lord. At that time, his heart, which was like a lake, was filled with water of ecstatic love. When his mind was immersed in that lake, he even forgot the regulative service to the Lord. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyananashalaksha Chaturimitam Yena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Karamayam Tadatisva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Prana Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagratam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduttam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanyam Divam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Tamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namushtute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Stute Devi Pranami Hari Bhaipriya Vanchakalpatarubhyasa Kripa Siroevascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the canto number 5, which is one of the most impressive canto. The name of the canto is The Great Impetus. In Russian, Stimul. In German Anstoß. And in English, Impulse. And we had before the Lord Rishabhadeva's teachings to his sons. And I was reminded heavily to these teachings when reading through the chapter 7, which is about the activities of King Bharata. Actually, the teaching is very much the same, with, of course, many other aspects of looking at the matter. But basically, it is Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is here again promoted, and the goal is, as it was with Rishabhadev also, to become completely immersed in the love of God, the love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What Maharaja Bharata, he very beautiful performs is that he worships Narayana, who is composed of golden effulgence and who resided in the sun, within the sun. So this is one of our basic prayers also that we do 3 times a day. We address our attention to Narayana in the sun, and we by doing so we accept the spiritual master, we get initiated, and we serve Guru Maharaj. By these 3 things we can actually decrease our attachment to the spiritual world, and we can revive our relationship to Krishna, to the Lord, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has so many names. But those who are materially attached to women and sense gratification, they are entangled in the material world, and unconsciously they suffer the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death. And by doing everything for this material body and a better position in this material world, be it accumulate wealth or without that being a service for Krishna, but for its personal sense gratification. That is the difference. They actually create their next, or we actually create our next material body, which is the cause of the misery of the material world and the suffering. The 4 sufferings and miseries of the material world are Bhakta Sergei.
My level English is very little, I understand.
The miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death. Birth, getting born,
Yes, we born. I'm not.
death, dying,
Yes.
old age, getting old,
Uh-huh.
and diseased, being sick. So that is the four miseries of the material world. And we can overcome this by developing a spiritual body, accept a spiritual master, get initiated, serve Maharaj. Very simple. Then, about these very interesting symptoms of ecstasy, I was researching and I found in the Nectar of Devotion, chapters 27, the symptoms. And they are very weird. They're very weird. But everything in the spiritual realm is beautiful and purposeful, whereas it looked upon it as materially, it is completely confusing, basically. So let's say dancing. Dancing, okay, that's not so controversial, but a symptom of ecstasy is dancing, rolling on the ground. You understand? Yeah. That already is a little bit awkward, but actually somebody in spiritual ecstasy can be rolling on the ground or singing very loudly, stretching the body or crying loudly, you know, or yawning, breathing very heavily, neglecting the presence of others. You do all these things without even taking notice there is someone else in the room which could be disturbed or find you weird. Drooling, that means the saliva is coming out of the mouth, like very, very old man. Laughing like a madman, you know, wheeling the head, turning it like this, wheeling the head, or belching. I'm not going to belch in the temple, but that's not proper to do it. But belching, I mean, that is very awkward. Belching is really, I think, after, except for Arab tradition, after a meal, to signal the meal was good, you belch. It is, in all the cultures, not considered something very nice. But belching is apparently a symptom of ecstasy. So isn't that interesting? And I was also listening to a wonderful lecture of Jaya Maharaj. He was reciting two stories that Prabhupada told in earlier lectures. He said that there was a visitor to the temple, and he was crying. He was really crying, and water was flowing down his tears, and devotees were always, oh wow, this is a symptom of ecstasy. And then later on, somebody observed him how he took out chili from the nose. So he must have been a yogi, not to sneeze, but to only cry, he said, Jayapataka Swami. And the other one was like when a Swami was giving a lecture, and he was always making an important point. And by making an important point, he was putting his chin forward, like this. And there was one lady in the front, she always cried. Every time he made an important point, the lady cried. So he was very impressed. He said, oh, is that a symptom of ecstasy? So he sent a servant after the lady, and she came, and he asked her, so what is this crying every time you make an important point? I made an important point. And she said, well, I just lost a goat. And the beard of the goat reminded me on the beard of your chin. You also have this beard. So when you make like this, I was remembering my goat, who is now deceased, who is not taken away from me. Did you get the story? No. Well, I'll tell you later. I think it's a funny story. So it has to be very, very difficult to really make out ecstatic symptoms, fake from real. And Srila Prabhupada said that he doesn't display these symptoms in public. If he gets these symptoms, and apparently he got them, he would retreat to his room and do this, off public viewing, basically, in private. And but basically, this is described also in Rishabhodev's behavior, that he behaved like a complete madman, that his hair was disheveled and he was naked and he behaved like a cow and a deer and even a crow. And here already also with King Bharata. I mean, he was the king of the whole globe. And this whole world was then named after him, Bharata Varsha. That was the name of the earth, because he was a king for a very long time. Actually, his life was described as 10,000 times 1,000 years. So 10 million years, basically. So he was very, very sincerely doing all his service, looked after his regulative duties, and he was a very good king. He was really an exceptionally good king. I mean, an example of a king. And yes, in the text before, it is said that by doing such service and so many yagyas, he would lose all attachment to the material world, and then finally he just took off. He basically went to vanaprashta or sannyas. I don't know sannyas, but certainly vanaprashta. He left family and house, home, as did Rishabhadev. And apparently he was so ecstatic that he even forgot all the regulative duties that he did before, like the yagyas, the Chatur Yagya. And that seems to be also a symptom that actually in this ecstatic condition, the condition of ecstatic love for God, one forgets completely where one is, and is just immersed in this love. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was completely crazy. I mean, looked upon him as from a material eyes. His servants, his students, his closest associates even looked after him so that he would not get lost or not injure himself. So it is very, very special, this condition. But of course, that is something that we don't have to really aspire to be. That will come automatically, and it will come from the heart. It is not something that one can go for or plan for or make progress towards. That is not possible. The real symptom of ecstasy develops spontaneously in the heart, it is said. So what we can go for is that we can develop the symptoms of a Brahmana. And those are natural qualities by which a Brahmana works is Shamaha, peacefulness, Damaha, self-control, Tapaha, austerity, Saucham, purity, Kshantihi, tolerance, Arjavan, honesty, Jnanam, knowledge, Vijnanam, wisdom, Ashtikyam, religiosity. And those things we can actually, those symptoms we can work for, and we should work for. That is the idea of the process of Krishna consciousness, that we develop a hankering for knowledge, for scriptures, for love of Godhead, for the intimacy of the relationship with God. That we decrease our material desires like eating, sleeping, fearing, and sense gratification. Interesting, fearing. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam. So that is eating, sleeping, fearing, and sense enjoyment. So we should decrease those and increase the attachment to the Lord and to the devotional service. And devotional service is what actually brings us into this, onto this level of sattva immediately, if we do devotional service constantly. So I took now a vacation. Basically, I was on an Ayurveda cure for 2 weeks, and then I was sick, unfortunately, 2 weeks. So it was basically a non-temple time for 1 month, 1 whole month. And I can confirm that the interruption is not good for the devotional service. Even if before it wasn't a very long time, but you have to start all over, and it is kind of difficult to find your way again and to revive the same practice. And that is what Srila Prabhupada actually asks us to do, that we chant the holy name, that we observe the 4 principles of non-meat eating, non-drinking substances, no illicit sex, and no gambling. And then our position is guaranteed. So when we do the devotional service, we follow the 4 principles and we chant. Our position is guaranteed. Krishna will take personally care of us, and Maya cannot act. Maya cannot interfere. We are protected. That is a big promise from Srila Prabhupada. So we can serve Krishna if we serve our spiritual master, if we serve a Vaishnava. That will increase our devotional service and purify the heart. So it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 1967 that when first-class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge abstained by monastic philosophy and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. So this is the curve, non-curve. This word that we read today. Viraj, the curve. Where was it? Text 12. Well, I cannot find it right now. But basically, straight, not with curves, uninterrupted. That is the main thing. Here I will end. Is there any questions to this? No? So,
Short class.
short class, but substantial, I hope. Thanks to Jaya Swami Maharaj. The conclusion of the example of King Bharata or Rishabhava is that to immerse in devotional service will re-establish us on this platform of being in personal relationship and exchange with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And that this bhava grows in the heart automatically. So that will be it for today. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jaya.
Aisi Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami ki
Jaya.
Gora Premanande.
Hariyo.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Ram Prabhu ki. Jai. When a chakra or Malakasena come to class, they translate something and you can understand all. But when you listen English class, it's very hard for my level. I understand maybe 20%.
I understand. It's so
Yes.
difficult. I'm same thing with Russia, you know. I was in Moscow. But you're making nice progress.
Why not?
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. And thank you for coming.
Because Senior Devotee says that language is a second moment. Because when you come to class, you see us lector speak, his emotion, his inspiration, and process work. When you come to class and understand nothing,
Even
you
more.
have progress.
Really?
Because you listen and heart to heart.
Oh.
Knowledge is heart to heart.
Okay. Interesting.
I know, I don't see
Very-
problem in this moment. Knowledge says that we have in material world two options. Desire and do something. If I have desire to do progress, I come to class. All is very easy.
I'm thankful that you were there.
Very well.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Will you be in temple?
bist du? Ich habe nicht gesucht.
Ich bin aus dem Sprung.
Schon? Ja.
Komm jetzt zu machen, schon.
Nein, ich habe schon, es hat mir schon ein paar etwas ausgehändigt.
Und das ist Basel.
Genau. Hey,
Und tschüss.
ich wünsche dir wieder eine super Reise. Oder Reisen, muss ich ja sagen. Ja,